welcome to Duncan Toplis On Air podcast. I'm Caroline Cleary. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Duncan Toplis, and I'm joined today by Niall Kingsley, our Head of Charities and Director, but importantly for today's topic, the Chair of the Duncan Toplis Foundation. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, that's lovely. So hopefully today we can have an enjoyable conversation about our foundation, which is very quickly approaching its third anniversary.
No, it's gone by quick.
Yeah, very good. And maybe start with a quick kind of overview of what the foundation is about.
Yeah, so I suppose taking back quickly to the history of the foundation. So we were formed in 2022. We gave our first grant award in, I think, around November of 2022. And so far we've given over approaching 15,000 in grants to local charities and community groups. We've received about 70 applications for grant funding over that time, and we've raised a fantastic amount of money.
And so what for you has been the purpose behind the foundation for Duncan Toplis?
Yeah, so I guess we always, individually had fantastic team members or offices that kind of, on their own accord, and quite rightly, were raising money for various causes that they were passionate about. Duncan Toplis has always contributed to local communities and charities as well in its long history. And the idea really was that we could probably make a greater impact if we had something like a foundation where we could kind of collectively focus all our efforts, work together across all the office locations and all our team members and sort of pull together in one direction to really make a sort of greater impact than we were making.
Yeah, and I suppose aligned with our Growing Together strategy, where there's that real key piece around communities. What is the foundation looking to achieve in that way?
So, just really represent, I guess, one of our core values at Duncan Toplis, which is sort of, having a real impact on, our local communities where all of Duncan Toplis team members sort of live and work. So our focus is obviously, is raising as much money as possible, really sort of providing vital funding for some of these smaller charities and community groups that, do desperately rely on, foundations like ours or corporate kind of donations and whatnot, where, the sort of groups that might not necessarily have the ability to go for larger grants or really boost their funding in other ways. So I think it's vital support what we can give.
You mentioned earlier about the volume of grants that you've had through to the foundation. What kind of initiatives have you been able to support?
Quite a wide range. So we do kind of set ourselves, 6 or 7 focus areas that we kind of like to zoom in on, and we look to refine those periodically. I'll maybe touch on that some later. But yeah, so things from care hospices, community groups or charities that are really trying to get young people to create greater opportunities or work opportunities for young people. What else have we done? Charities that involved with sort of sustainability projects in our local areas. Quite a wide range. In some community spaces, yes, there's scout groups even that have just desperately needed some funding for the community spaces that they occupy. Quite a broad range, but
yeah, and I suppose with the foundation being supported by but independent from the Duncan Toplis Group, with that group expanding with new locations over the last 12 months, have you seen a particular uplift in applications from that broader geography?
Yeah, we're starting to see them come in now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, predominantly it was obviously when we first started, sort of Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, and now obviously with our location in Derbyshire and North London. It's work to do to get the word out into those communities, and hopefully our team members in those locations can help us to do that as well.
And the team effort really seems key to how you're raising funds. Absolutely. With the foundation, and has been since inception by the sound of it. What are your main routes to raising those funds? How do you as a foundation get that income so that you can support those local causes?
Yes, I first need to say I think our team members have been, fantastic. We'd always love for them to do more and more and more and more, and we'll push them to do that. But they have been brilliant. Variety of things. Still, it can be as small as the usual office cake sales to something as large, which was a particular highlight for me, which was the Yorkshire Three Peaks Challenge, where we had, it was 25 or 30 of our team members undertake the Yorkshire Three Peaks Challenge. We raised over £7,000 in sponsorship for that. And I think equally as rewarding for me was not only the money we raised, which has been put towards such valuable causes, but the feedback we got from the team members and the personal reward that they got from taking part, and the messages I got afterwards about how well it was organised, what a great day, what a great team bonding experience it was. So it was more than just raising the money that we got out of it, and I'm excited about doing more of that type of larger scale events going forward into the future.
And so that kind of covers how team members are directly engaged with the foundation's activities. What I think there is, obviously there's costs to running the charity. How do you manage that?
Well, fortunately, Duncan Toplis itself covers all the costs related to the charity. So absolutely every penny raised, that famous old quote, every penny raised goes to the charity and then the causes we support. So we're very fortunate on that side to have that support, and of course Duncan Toplis itself has generously contributed as well, and match fund a significant amount of the monies raised to date.
So if I was a local charity, or I work with a local initiative, you mentioned Scout Huts before, didn't you? How would I get involved in the foundation? How would I put my case forward to be supported?
Yeah, so absolutely any community group, and again we're kind of focusing on particular areas. They're on our website, so keep an eye on those. Again, trying to support groups within 20 miles of our sort of office locations. So if you're in Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire, North London, and hopefully more patches as we continue to grow. The best way to do it is to just have a look at the Duncan Toplis Foundation website. Easily Google it. I don't have the exact address, but I'm pretty sure it's www.duncantoplisfoundation.co.uk.
Yeah, the Duncan Toplis Foundation.co.uk. We can signpost that when we publish the podcast too. Might be worth as well. So you've said about how to apply, but what's the application process?
Okay, yes, there's an online form via the website, and it's fairly simple to complete. So obviously, your contact details, name of your organisation, charity number if applicable. If you've got certain financial information, so your account, charity accounts, etc. There's you're requested to upload those on the website, and then really it's just generally up to you to sell yourselves. Once that has been submitted, that comes to the 6 trustees, and we meet quarterly to review all the applications that have been submitted during that period. And obviously, if it's an area we can support either financially or because it's an area we're sort of focused on at that current time, then be absolutely delighted to support as many as we can with the funds that we've got.
So I suppose a couple of calls to action there in what we've talked about so far is if you're a Duncan Toplis team member, get involved. If you're able to fundraise. If you're out there in our communities and you can engage through team member sponsorship or other types of support, please do. And then if you are a local community initiative, reach out and find out, can the foundation make a difference to your cause as well? We touched at the beginning.
Sorry, just before we do, a quick plug on that. Obviously, if as well as applying online, you can actually donate to the Duncan Toplis Foundation via website. And of course, if any clients, if we've done fantastic work for you, gone above and beyond, which often we do, then if you want to thank us in that way, then please do. Feel free to make a donation.
Yeah, that's a very good action to say. And also to reiterate, as you said before, if every penny is going to the foundation, there's a real confidence that the efforts that are made in fundraising are making a difference to those important local community initiatives as well. Which brings us roundly to the fact that the foundation is now 3 years old. As chair, and you've been chair since its inception, what goals do you have for the foundation going forward? What do you see the future being?
So I think it's probably easy for me to sit here and say, well, the easiest answer would be I'd like to double or triple the amount of money we've raised and paid out to community groups, or we'd like to raise £100,000 in the next 2 to 3 years. Whilst we need to be ambitious as a trustee group in terms of setting our growth objectives for the foundation, I think for me, we need to focus on the inputs that will help us achieve that growth rather than focusing on the outcomes. So for me, over certainly the next 12 months, I'm passionate alongside my trustees group to get focused on those inputs. And I think one of the main drivers really for me is actually building that engagement, increasing that engagement, not only with our team members or our new team members as we grow, also with the other companies within the Duncan Toplis Group, and also our clients and our communities. I would really want to revisit our focus areas, keep those fresh and up to date, and make sure we are impacting the types of areas, types of charities, types of community groups that our team members are passionate about, and that hopefully will then lead them, as they've done fantastically so far in terms of doing marathons. We've had somebody run the London Marathon recently. We've got somebody doing, I think, an ultra marathon or something like that soon. We've obviously got the 3 Peaks challenges, etc., which involves a larger group of people. But I think if we get those focus areas right to build that engagement, and that will really drive home and encourage our team members to get involved and increase the amount of money that we can raise, and hopefully attract clients to help support us as well. So it's getting those inputs right. To me, that's important, and making sure that as trustees we're actually ensuring that the foundation is achieving what we all want to achieve as team members of Duncan Toplis, and really impact our communities in the way that we care about and we want to all step up individually and take part in.
Yeah, you've talked with a brilliant energy there about what the future holds, and also given a really good account of what the last 3 years have taken us to in terms of the Duncan Toplis Foundation. Perhaps it might be worth you sharing some of your personal enjoyment of being engaged with that foundation team.
Yeah, so for me, it's I've always had a community focus, and as head of charities, obviously, passionate about the work that charities do and the important role that they play in our society, both at the local community level and obviously on a national and international level as well. So I always had that sense of pride and purpose and personal reward from being involved from the beginning, helping to form it and set it up, and and run it alongside with the fantastic 5 trustees that we've got on board. Being involved with the some of the fundraising activity, particularly the Yorkshire Free Peak Challenge, was incredibly tough. I think I probably was one that found it one of the hardest. But again, just taking part actually in that, in not only the team members fed back, but I found that incredibly, rewarding, and a real sense of pride from being involved and completing it, even though hobbling along to the finish line. But being part of raising that fantastic amount of money, so it's multi-pronged in the sense of what I get from being involved, from the leadership side, but also to the fundraising side.
Yeah, so I suppose that opens you up for a bit of a closing message, perhaps a call to action to people. What would you be saying to our listeners?
Yeah, get involved, really get involved. If you're a client, again, we'll happily take feedback if there's certain areas where you think a business like Duncan Toplis should be focusing its sort of charitable giving. But yeah, particularly just to team members, just speak to the people that have taken part and raised money for the foundation. Speak to people about how they found being part of the 3 Peaks Challenge, and just think about how you can really get involved and pay attention to what we're doing and what type of charities we're supporting. Give us your feedback, and help us make the foundation be as impactful but also meaningful to you as we can make it. And we can all at Duncan Toplis play a part in that. We will be trying to get more team members involved, so we've got the right skill sets, the right people with the right passion for different aspects, whether that's fundraising or planning fundraising events or engaging with the different team members at different locations. We're keen to get more and more people involved. So if you do have that passion, really do get in touch, please.
So get involved, and that's the duncantoplisfoundation.co.uk to find out more information. Really enjoyed exploring the Duncan Toplis Foundation with you today.
No, it's great to have the opportunity to talk about it. Thank you.
That's brilliant.